The more I get to know myself, the more I love myself. The more I understand why someone wouldn't want to just bounce or leave, because I ride. Because if I love somebody, I love you forever, like I'm riding. So after someone's treated me like shit, if all of a sudden they're like, no, I want to stay, I'm like, oh, I know. Who the fuck wouldn't? You know, who wouldn't?
Be patient. Everything in life will go exactly how it's supposed to go. At times you will feel like an outcast, that you don't fit in, but you will discover that being your own clique will be your strongest attribute. In life, you're going to face many challenges, many moments of adversity. There are going to be a lot of successes and some failures too. Those moments are going to create your character, build your integrity, and they will become your beauty marks.
Change your relationship to fear. I've said this before. Fear is not the enemy. The feeling of fear is just like any other emotion. Fear is actually informing you. Fear is telling you that you need to do something. Either do more research, get some support, get some insight, study a little more, slow down. Fear is actually feeding you. So then ask yourself the question, what do I need to do, think, or go get to dissipate this fear? Forgiveness actually, if you really understand it, it has less to do with the other person and more to do with you. Forgiveness invites in love, invites in possibility, invites in prosperity, it invites in new thinking, it invites in creativity. So forgiveness is an expanding emotion. When you forgive, you're opened up for new things.
Act like the person you want to become. And the reason why this is so important is we know thinking alone won't get you to change. You actually have to take the actions that change everything.
The fact that I'm gonna die one day and that everyone around me is gonna die and no one will remember me after a certain point makes me feel so good. Like, because I could do the best thing in the world and nobody would remember it ever, and I'll die and it won't matter, and everyone else around me will die and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world and that won't matter because I'll die eventually.
Happiness is the key, because there's so many people that you see either in this industry or just in life in general that are going through their days and may have everything they could ever want, but they're not happy. You have to focus on what makes you happy and make decisions in your career, in your life, that make you happy.
What does self-worth actually mean to you?
Oh, self-worth is my belief that I belong wherever I am, in whatever room or space that I'm in, and that I bring value to that space. That I'm not just there because someone else couldn't come, or I'm not just there because they didn't find someone better, but that I bring value no matter where I am. And I feel like so many times women go into a space wanting someone to validate their existence or for someone to give them validation and worth, and yet self-worth is believing in the value that I bring when I come into a room or space.
I don't think confidence is something that you are born with. I don't think confidence is, it's a skill set. And I had no confidence growing up as a child. Then over time I realized, like, as a woman, as a girl in this world, if I allow myself to be hurt or if I allow myself to be affected, that's all I'm going to be. And so confidence is something I taught myself over the years. I started becoming okay with who I am.
Staying true to who you are is easy when you know who you are. And I think that I'm 31, and through my 20s, I had to really get to know myself. And I had a lot of like what felt like maybe carpal tunnel, because I was just writing a lot about journaling, about who I wanted to be, what my goals were, and all these different things. And I think that just really knowing who you are and getting to know yourself is really key in whatever industry that you're in and whatever mountain you're trying to move.
I guess when you just like be yourself, you know, and in your most genuine possible way, and are completely unafraid, that's when everything starts to fall into place. And that takes a while. When you let go and you're like, here you go, take it or leave it.
Whether you like it or not,
that's as simple as it can be. It's
Yeah.
like, why hold back? You own life. Just have fun and be yourself, and don't worry about the rest. It all falls into place.
I finally get to LA. I have to pursue my dream, because if I don't, what am I teaching my son? And I have to fight the good fight, because people are telling me I can't. You can't do this. You can't. Are you crazy? You're moving to California with your son. You'll never make it. If you listen to people and And if you allow people to project their fears onto you, you won't live.
It's self-full to be first, to be as good as possible to you, to take care of you, to keep you whole and healthy. That doesn't mean that you disregard everything and everyone, but you want to come with your cup full. You know, my cup runneth over. What comes out of the cup is for y'all. What's in the cup is mine. But I gotta keep my cup full. Worth, what it is that you expect from the world in response to who you are. It's very different from value. Self-value means how you hold yourself within yourself and what you expect as a result. In order to get to the worth, if you're not holding yourself within yourself as worthy, then what you expect from the world is surely gonna hurt you.
I think everyone is different and unique, and that's a good thing. It's not bad. It's kind of the best thing in the world. You don't want to be like everyone else. What's special is the fact that you're different, and is the fact that you're unique, and that you can bring something to the table. So if anything, embrace that thing that you have that no one else does, and expand upon it and make it better, and tell everyone about it, and be confident in it. Because if you're confident and happy and smiling, you will attract confidence, happiness, and laughter.
I am willing to speak up. I am willing to keep going. I am willing to listen to what others have to say. I am willing to go forward even when I feel alone. I am willing to go to bed each night at peace with myself. I am willing to be my biggest, bestest, most powerful self.
My love for myself could not be based on other people. We spend time on everything to do with hair and makeup and clothes and on other people, looking at other people, talking to other people. But I felt like I wasn't spending any time actually thinking, who am I? Like, I don't know who I am. And I feel like in a relationship, whether it's with yourself or whether it's with somebody else, you have to know yourself, to love yourself. We never get into relationships with people or friendships with people without knowing them.
The most important journey I think all of us will go through is the journey in ourselves, to find our truth, to find who we are and what makes us happy. And in our culture, we are told that if we're beautiful, if we're skinny, if we're successful, famous, if we fit in, if everyone loves us, that we'll be happy. But that's not entirely true.
Almost tricked myself enough that every day I was doing something that was meaningful, that I wasn't addressing how I actually felt. Looking back now, I was at my most miserable because I didn't address how I felt. And now in business and everything I do, I reassess. But I didn't have a growth mindset back then. So now I'm just like, am I enjoying what I'm doing? What is my life's purpose? And am I doing that every single day? And I didn't do that back then.
It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. May we empower each other to carry out such vision, because it isn't enough to simply talk about equality. One must believe in it, and it isn't enough to simply believe in it. One must work at it.
For so long I was searching for a real love, but I finally found my real love. And that real love is me.
I feel like my issue growing up with finding self-love was when I was focusing on everybody else's opinion on me. And I say this all the time, but it's really about focusing on your opinion of yourself. It's hard to love yourself when you're always focused on everyone else loving you and what can I do to make this person like me, or whatever the case is. Just focus on yourself, and that's all that matters.
As people come into your life, you still have to make a decision every time of like, is this somebody that I want around? You know, and if it's somebody that is a good influence on you and is supportive of the life that you want to live, then keep them. But if they're not, if it's not conducive to your journey that you want to be on, there's no need for them to be in your life.
No matter what people perceive of me, I always shine through at the end of the day. I've had a lot of people try to tear me down, but I'm here. And I've always been myself, and I've always wanted that, and I've been graced graceful, and I've tried to handle myself with as much class, and it's only because I know how hard I work, and I'm not going to let any of that get to me.
Not everyone that's hurt you cares. Someone said forgiveness lets you off the hook. Why would you carry that with you?
Because they don't care.
If the person doesn't care, why are you tainting and infecting all the amazing moments that could happen in your life with someone that doesn't care how they hurt you? So how do you figure out how to let that go? And that takes work. It takes work.
Our beliefs create our thoughts, and our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings create our behavior, and our behavior creates our results. And so if you want anything to change on the results level, don't just go to the behaviors or the feelings or even the thoughts. We need to go deeper to our beliefs, because if we can handle that, everything changes.
Life is too short to sit anywhere other than where you're supposed to be. And if you're sitting at a table where you don't feel like you're being fed, even if you're bringing a plate of food, you politely just leave.
Please take care of yourself and be good to yourself and be nice to yourself. Don't take that extra step and hurt yourself further than you can, and you can't take it back.
You pray to catch the bus, and then you run as fast as you can. You can't pray to catch the bus and stroll down the street, right? Like, you gotta pray to catch the bus, run as fast as you can, because then if you miss the bus, it's not your bus. But if you don't run, that could have been your bus. And if you don't pray, that could have been your bus. So I try to do both, like all of my work, all of my faith, and then, you know, rejection is God's protection. It's mine or it's not.
If your happiness depends on the actions of others, you're at mercy of things that you can't control. And that's never where I want to be. So I always want to live in, like, me and my therapist talk about, like, my higher goddess, my higher self. Like, I always want to live there, knowing that when I'm there, you can't take that away from me. That's mine.
To all of you watching here, come close to the screen and listen. People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, you better love what you see.
The most important thing to me now is being in touch with myself and how I am actually really feeling, and listening to my gut, trusting my gut. That's what's important to me.
Look at yourself in the mirror and embrace who you are, because people love you for whatever you're going to be. The true people who love you will love you for whatever you are. So if you're comfortable in your own skin, it doesn't matter if you're curvy, if you're skinny, or whatever you have, I will always love you the way you are.
So when you're told you're not good enough, you tell them, not only am I good enough, I'm more than enough. When they say, send her back home, you tell them, I am home. I am the foundation of what we call home. When they tell you that you're angry or nasty, you tell them that they're mistaken. This is me.
There are many people you will love, and they are not necessarily the same people that you will make a life with. Are you looking for a love story, or are you looking for a life story?
I personally know that I am capable of whatever I put my mind to. Whether someone agrees with that or not is not a concern of mine.
Be you. Be real. Be authentic. Be your favorite kind of woman.
You must know inside, in the deepest part of your being, that you matter. Not just that you matter, but also why. So for me, the foundational base of empowerment, of entrepreneurship, of any kind of engagement, the foundational base of my success, of my well-being, my wholeness, my everything, is knowing who I am and where I come from.
You don't always end up with the greatest love of your life. But it took me that to find out that you already have the greatest love of your life. You just don't realize it till you find it. and that is yourself. Amen. Because people race so hard. All you read in magazines, and the biggest topic to talk about is finding love and swiping right, and when you're gonna find that one. Yo, you're with the one you're gonna spend the rest of your life with already. And it took me time to actually realize I always put myself behind my work, finding that right romance, being the right wife, being the right marriage, and those things aren't wrong. And I'm not saying that I have regrets. It takes you certain things to finally get who is the person in the mirror that you've neglected the whole time. So I really do thank those experiences that it took me to get there, because some people will spend the rest of their life not knowing to put themselves first and to miss out on the truest love you'll ever experience. Because once you got that down, the rest is bliss.
My biggest inspiration is my experiences. I love women. I look up to a lot of strong women. Brene Brown, people that have helped me grow. But my biggest inspiration is my life, and I love my mom as well. She inspires me a lot.
Every woman has a right not only to independence and security, but to live her life to the full and to express herself.
You need to surround yourself with people who are going to stimulate, inspire, and lift you up, who are going to give you energy and not take energy away from you. And if you're around people who are taking energy away from you, that's an energy drain, and that is the sign from your instinct, your inner voice, your intuition to say, let them go. Wow.
Make sure you take some time for yourself to stay grounded in the midst of all this craziness.
Remember that you belong in any room that you enter, and if you don't feel like you truly belong, act like you belong. Part of it is simply, what's the alternative? I don't know how you can go through life walking into rooms and allowing other people to make you feel like you don't belong. That's crazy. Because if they can make you feel like you don't belong, that means that they get to have everything and you don't get to have anything. That is unacceptable considering where we are in this world right now. You have to belong in every room. That's not an option.
In my experience, like to feel this dynamic, to have this kind of dialogue with myself is truly what allows me to be the woman that I am, and I love her. So if I want to invite you to create this unbreakable relationship with yourself where you have, you know, all the S's and that self-trust, that self-love, that self-confidence, I'm going to invite you to really pay attention to your dialogue with yourself and get into a loving dialogue with yourself.
That's my biggest achievement in life. I know who I am. I love who I am. I like what I do, and I like how I do it, and I like my mistakes, and I like the way I learn, and I like the pace with which I learn my mistakes. I don't want to be anybody else but me.
We then live our life in defense of that story, though for many of us, that story, like I said, is so small. It might not even apply to the current situation or the current choices that we're making day in and day out. So the goal really is to expand, is to allow in, right, through honesty, through witnessing, all aspects of ourselves, because we all have all of those aspects of ourselves. And the way it mainly comes out is when we see an aspect of ourselves in someone else, and then we don't feel negatively about ourselves because we deny that that's even in there, and then we project all of that negativity onto that person.
So what I see so many people doing is this classic mistake of trying to make someone else love them. I'm going to find this guy and try to make him love me. I'm going to find this girl, this woman, and try to make them love me. I'm going to run after love, chase after love, work so hard. I'm going to earn that love of being super good or super hot or super nice or super indispensable. And that is all a mistake. Love is not to be earned. Love is not to be worked for or run after or bought or even traded. And if you want to find love, there's one thing you have to change. It is not your body, it's not your weight, your shape, your size, the years on your birth certificate. The only thing you need to find love is a belief that you are lovable.